There's a holy heck of a mess that appears to be developing in Tampa, Florida, involving Jameis Winston. An account from an Uber driver that occurred back in March of 2016. This Uber driver, she alleged that Jameis Winston groped her in a drive-through of a Mexican restaurant in Scottsdale, Arizona. He was coming off of his rookie season with the Bucs. He denied the allegation that became public through a BuzzFeed report in 2017. She said that she and Jameis were the only people in the car. He sexually assaulted me, and I have every right to tell the damn truth about it, she told BuzzFeed. Ronald Darby, who now plays for the Philadelphia Eagles, who was a teammate of Jameis Winston's in college, said at the time publicly that the account was wrong because not only wasn't Jameis in the front seat of the car, he was in the back seat, but he was in the back seat with him. Ronald Darby at the time said there were three of us in the car, not just one, as has been reported. Myself and Jameis were in the back seat. I'm confident that nothing inappropriate in nature happened in the car that evening, and Jameis did not have any physical contact with the Uber driver. The accusations are just not true. And when this came out in BuzzFeed in November of 2017, that's when the league started investigating, which is why there were some reports yesterday that the 3-game suspension that's being handed down to Jameis Winston, not official yet, but that's expected to come down on Jameis Winston, was because he didn't report the incident right away as is required by the collective bargaining agreement. To help us make heads or tails of all this, Bucs beat writer and columnist for the Tampa Bay Times, Rick Stroud. How are you, Rick?
I'm doing well, Rich. I'm doing good. And I'll start where you ended there as far as not reporting. I mean, at the time that this occurred, at the end of his rookie season, there was no such stipulation that players had to report. That came later in December.
Okay.
And I can tell you with confidence that that is not a factor in this case at all. They spent 8 months investigating this case. They interviewed a ton of witnesses. There is a he said, she said element to it. We've seen on NFL Network, they reported that, that Darby wasn't in the car the entire time, apparently. We still don't know who the alleged third passenger was because Winston and no one will tell anyone. So there's a lot of conflicting things. But as far as this notion, and I think it was put out, by a Tallahassee radio show host, and it feels like so much spin. But my information or my reporting is that is not why he's getting 3 games, and it's for violating the player conduct penalty code because it's very broad. And let's face it, we know what Jameis came into the league with, and now he's had 2 of these allegations, and so he's going to get a minimum of 3 games and possibly more if he doesn't, do what the NFL is going to require him to do. That will likely be undisclosed.
Yeah, and I want to say that, again, just now that I was giving all the details, that he wasn't charged with anything, and he wasn't convicted, obviously, of anything if he wasn't charged. The only thing that did happen to him is that Uber suspended his account. He needed to find a different way to get rides around town, wherever town he was in, Rick. But that also doesn't mean that the league can't suspend him under its policy.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.